And I say Buddhist scholars believe in the idea of there being 3 periods of the Dharma after the Buddha's death, but the real teachings do not make any distinction. We say that everyone who practices Zazen attains the state of truth. What is more, in this directly transmitted teaching, we enter the balanced state and leave the intellectual area, and we know that when this happens during our practice, just as a person can easily tell the difference between hot and cold water. And someone asks, some people teach that once we understand the theory that mind here and now is Buddha, even if we don't recite the sutras or practice Zazen, there is nothing missing in our pursuit of the truth. Just to understand that the Buddhist truth resides in everyone is the whole of the attainment of the truth. There is no need to look for anything else from other people, and certainly no need to practice Zazen. And I say, this explanation is utterly false. If it were just a question of understanding with our mind, everyone is capable of understanding this principle straight away when it is explained clearly. But learning the Buddha's truth is throwing away our subjective and objective views of the world. If just knowing the fact that we are Buddha already were the same as attaining the truth, then the Buddha would not have needed to teach us the way to conduct ourselves morally. I would like to illustrate this with a koan story from our ancestors. Long ago there was a monk called Prior Soku who lived in Master Hogan's order. Master Hogan asked him, Soku, how long have you been with us? And Soku said, I've been here for 3 years now. The master said, since you are quite a new member, why don't you ever ask me about the Buddha's truth? Soku replied, somewhat arrogantly, I'd better tell you the truth. When I was studying with Master Seiho, I attained the state of enlightenment. The master said, what were the words that enlightened you? And Soku said, I once asked Seiho, who am I, this student? And Seiho replied, that which the fire created comes looking for fire. The master said, those words are true, but I wonder if you understood what he meant by them. And Soku said, well, that which fire created comes looking for fire. I understood him to mean that I am already fire, but I am looking for fire. I am looking for myself, although I am already myself. And the master said, now I am sure that you missed the point of what he was saying to you. If the truth of the Buddha were only a kind of intellectual recognition, then it would never have survived for so long. Then Soku became embarrassed and disturbed and stood up and started to leave the temple. But after a while on the path, he thought to himself, Master Hogan is known as a good teacher throughout China, and he is teaching over 500 students. There must be something in his criticism of me. And then Soku returned to the temple to apologize and to respectfully ask Master Hogan to explain to him where he was wrong. He asked, who am I, this student? And the master replied, that which the fire created comes looking for fire. Hearing these words, Soku fully realized what the truth of the Buddha is. So it is clear from this story that the intellectual understanding that we are just Buddha is not it. If it were, then Master Hogan would never have reprimanded Soku like he did. Right from the first time we meet a teacher, we should ask what is most important and concentrate ourselves on practicing Zazen to clarify the truth, pushing away all the many kinds of intellectual games. Then we will receive the subtle teaching of the Buddha. And someone asks, in stories about monks in India and China, we hear of Kaigo Gen Chikan, who realized what the truth is when he heard a pebble strike bamboo, and Ryun Shigon, whose consciousness became clear when he saw the colour of peach blossom. And the Buddha himself experienced the truth when he saw the bright star. And Ananda entered reality when a temple flagpole fell. Not only that, there are many people in the 5 lineages descending from Master Daikan Ino, the 6th patriarch, who made their state clear on hearing just a single word or a single poem. Did all these people practice Zazen? And I say, All of these people made their state clear through subjective or objective experiences that had no uncertainty in their minds about what is real and live fully and wholly in the present. Someone asks, in China and India, people are straightforward and sincere because they live in the centre of a civilized world. So when they are taught the Buddha's truth, they understand and enter it quickly. But here in Japan, people are not kind or wise, so it is difficult for us to see what is right. Unfortunately, we are savages from the southeast, and even ordinary people in China or India are better than monks in Japan. We are narrow-minded and stupid. We all want to get something strongly, and we like superficial things. How can people like us experience the Buddha's truth straight away, even if we practice Zazen? And I say, yes, you are right. People here are, as you say. Even if we teach them the truth, they will distort it. They like fame and profit. They find it difficult to get rid of their delusions and attachments. But on the other hand, it is not always necessary to be wise and perfect to transcend the habits that society imposes on us. While the Buddha was alive, there was an old monk who realized the truth when another monk threw a ball at him. And even a prostitute who put on the geisha as a joke was able to make the truth clear. Both of them were rather dull and stupid, but because they believed in reality, they were able to escape from their delusions. One devout old woman who saw a monk practicing Zazen when she was serving meals realized the truth, not because she was wise or from something she read, or from anything written, or from listening to talks, but because she had the right belief. The Buddha's teachings have only been spreading through the whole world for around 2,000 years. There are many different nations, and not all of them are wise and benevolent, and not everyone is intelligent and wise and able to see clearly. But the truth which the Buddha taught is very powerful and great. It will spread through those countries at the right time. If people believe in the right thing and practice Zazen, then both clever and stupid people alike will attain the state of truth. Don't think that it is impossible for us to grasp the Buddha's truth just because we are like this, and everyone has the potential to develop wisdom. It is not just that many of us practice Zazen yet, and so we are not yet mature. The above questions and answers have come and gone, and the exchanges have been untidy. Many times I feel my answers may just have prompted more thinking, more intellectual reflection. But the basic principle of practicing Zazen as the centre of Buddha's truth has not been known here in Japan until now, so no one could have been aware of its importance. This is the reason why I wanted to collect together the things that I learned in China and make a record of the teachings of my master Tendo Nyojo, so that anyone who wants to read them can do so. I also learned many of the customs and conventions that exist in monasteries and temples in China, but it will take longer for me to teach all these things. Overall, it has been very fortunate for the people of Japan that the truth that the Buddha taught spread from China to us here in the East, separated as we were by the ocean and the weather. However, the meaning of Buddha's concepts and objects, facts and events has become confused, and this has disturbed the situation, making it difficult to practice. Now, we who have given up trying to gain anything can recognize the state of being awakened in this moment at once and achieve a lifetime's practice immediately. This is what Master Ruji is expressing in his poems and what Master Mahakasyapa has left to us. I have set out the standard way to practice Zazen in Fukan Zazengi, which I wrote after returning from China in 1227. To spread the truth that the Buddha taught through a country, it might seem better to wait for the authorities to promote it. But on the other hand, looking back at what happened at the Buddha's huge gathering on Vulture Peak, the Lotus Sutra describes kings, nobles, ministers and generals accepting what the Buddha instructed and fulfilling their inborn mission to preserve and maintain the Buddha's teachings. The spread of that teaching is not bound by country. To spread the truth that our ancestors have taught, we don't need to choose a right place or a right time. Let's just start where we are now. So I have compiled this and leave it for wise people who are searching for the truth of this world, and for the stream of people practicing Zazen who want to explore the true state of natural balance. Shobogenzo, Bendowa, written in 1231 by monk Dogen, who went to China and received the transmission of Dharma, and this interpretation was completed by Mike Eido Luetchford on the 16th of June 2004, and read by Hugh Ransley on Monday the 5th of January 2015.